Hey friends, it's that time again. Kenny Jahng here. We are in the Church Tech Today universe with AI, and one of the things that I was able to do, this is the power of social, friends. I was able to get on a platform, learn about a new tool, and then immediately connect with the founder. And this is somebody that actually been following from afar. It's one of those things where, hey, one day I'm going to eventually meet him in person and compare the profile pic to the human. But I've got Austin Armstrong on today. Welcome, Austin. How you doing?
Kenny, thank you so much, man. I'm doing great. It's so uh, fascinating how quick we line this up. To your point, right? I posted about Bibley yesterday. You left a comment. I
Yes.
immediately messaged you, and here we are, 24 hours
I mean,
later, doing that. So that's the power of the internet, and I
this
just
is the
love
power of the internet, and in terms of entrepreneurship, the reason why I love everything that you're doing and following, and everyone, we'll drop all his links below, but there is a bias for action that I think we both share, and I love the fact that you're also have, I'd say, 2 clicks forward in terms of generosity, of just sharing knowledge and everything that you're doing with people, that you have this posture of really openness, open-handedness in terms of something of scarcity. And so just thank you for everything that you are doing for all the people that you influence. So let's get right to today. The thing that piqued my interest is that you are out, I think, in the general sphere, at least that's how I've encountered you, sharing about social and AI and entrepreneurship, etc. But you launched a tool for pastors that is specifically Bible centered. And so I wanted to bring you on. So why don't you just share? So wait a minute, let me back up for this credit. I'm just so excited, Austin. Can you just give us the 30-second elevator pitch of who you are, what you're doing, how you're conquering the world out there?
it. Yeah, sure. So my name's Austin Armstrong, and I am a social media addict. No, I've been doing this for 20 years now, which is kind of crazy. I stumbled into social media in its infancy when I was 14 on MySpace. Jumped in immediately, started growing large followings, and figured out how to monetize on MySpace at 14, 15, 16 years old. I was in the marketing agency space for about 11 years. Uh, I started growing my personal brand really online 7 years ago. And can you still hear me? It said
Yeah,
failed to detect my audio. Okay,
actually,
sorry about that. I
this
don't know.
audio is actually better.
Oh, cool. Okay, Zoom. Yeah, it just popped up for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I started growing my personal brand about 6.5, 7 years ago now. Really, initially uh, blew up on TikTok, adopted that to other platforms, got fascinated in the AI space a little over 3 years ago now. I launched my first AI tool a little bit longer than 2 years ago called Syllabi, which lets you create, schedule, publish, and automate videos to social media. And I had gotten to a point where I uh, was able to be a successful affiliate marketer for a lot of different AI and software tools, and had the idea, well, if I'm so successful with affiliate marketing, why not create the tools myself
Yeah.
and own them and see what happens that way? And so now I've become kind of a serial entrepreneur, and I build micro SaaS tools outside of Syllabi as well to just sort of help people. That's what it's all about. We create tools where, yes, we're testing different markets and testing different ideas, but entrepreneurship is really about problem solving, seeing a need for something, and jumping in and trying to help people. And so that's kind of the last 20 years.
I love it. I love it. So, by the way, you guys have to check out Syllabi. It's syllabi.io, a great tool to check out. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about another one. Why don't you share with us the Bible tool that you actually have launched at this point?
Yeah, yeah. It's can I share my screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so this tool is called Bibley. So it's Bibley.io, and we train this on the Bible. And there's actually 27 different tools and use cases within it. So you can use it as a AI powered Bible study tool. Let me show you, kind of just immediately jumping in. So there's a lot of these tools in here. apologetics helper, end time analysis, sermon builder, biblical character study, biblical festival explainer, biblical name meanings. I don't need to shout all of these. I'll kind of go through and we can test some of them. But it's really just designed to give you a better understanding of the Bible, and yeah, and it's been fascinating. We actually just launched it yesterday, and it's been amazing to see how much interest there is so far.
Absolutely. Now, in this space, I think the AI front is just beginning to get the exposure it probably deserves in front of pastors and church staff. And if you've been following along our channel and all the things that we're doing in AI for church leaders, there's tons of new developments coming out. But this tool in particular, I think, was interesting to me because it actually is one of those things where it's almost like a Swiss Army knife. Instead of taking the approach of, hey, there's an app for that, and going down a very specific path, you actually have a diversity of use cases. And I'd love to hear, like, how did that come about? Like, where did that product development plan come about? And are you planning to add, like, what's the next step? Because you have a definite, a great palette of tools, but I can see how now you can go in so many different directions from here.
Yeah, so the original idea came from we actually built this infrastructure out for an entirely different idea around relationship coaching.
Mm.
So we partnered with an influencer about a year ago to create a tool called Pocket Communication Coach. And what that does, we trained it off of this relationship coach. Shout out to Ken Canyon. His expertise, he's been a relationship coach for like 20 plus years, absolutely brilliant guy. And so we created all of these different tools of how to talk to your spouse, how to solve workplace problems, talk to coworkers, how do I communicate better based on how he would answer that. And so it's like having a relationship coach in your pocket. And so once we have the infrastructure in place, we could kind of replicate it for different industries and plug and play. So that's really where the original idea came from is, okay, well, I know a lot of people in the church space. I come from a Christian background myself. I was raised Christian and grew up that way my whole life. And I know a whole lot of people that are in this space, and I've been connected with a lot of faith-based content creators and people trying to bring AI and content creation into the church and bridge that gap between religion and social media and AI. And I thought it was a really cool opportunity to bridge that gap and create a really cool tool that helps a lot of people, hopefully. And so where we're going with it too, it's really just based on where our users go. I mean, that's one of the things, or what our users are interested in. That's one of the things that's really carried Syllabi so far is I have always been a build in public type of guy. You know, you mentioned my transparency, and that's what this is all about. I'm not a greedy person. I just want to help people. And so, you know, it's going to depend on what the interests are. We always have that dialogue. If there's a feature that you want, let us know. We'll probably make it happen. There's a lot we can do with synergies of like video creation. So we could create videos on different sermons or allow you to connect your social media accounts to it and publish some of these things out there. There's a lot of different directions that we can go. But it really, I'm just interested to see how people use it and what people would like to see out of it.
I love it. And I'll just call this out. Pastors are always looking for affordable tools. And you've chosen a business model that I think is affordable to every single person listening in today. That I think the premium plan is as low as $4.99 a month, right? It's not expensive. It's something that is within reach of everybody out there.
Yeah, $5 a month, or you can purchase an entire year for $41.99 and save 30%, which gives you, and everything's unlimited access as well. We're not nickel and diming you. Just have fun with it, use it.
Now, what about, let me ask you, what about the use cases? Is this mostly for a pastor, or is this for a Bible study leader, or is it for a congregation member?
I think honestly, it's for anyone that wants to get the most out of the Bible. And so maybe we can dive in and kind of do like a little demo
Yeah,
of some of the
absolutely.
tools, if that would be helpful for the audience. So let's go with the sermon builder first. So every tool on here has a little example of how it works and some example queries. And so, Kenny, why don't you give me a topic of a sermon focus?
What about friendships? Like how do you develop deep, meaningful friendships? I think that's one of the things that this generations in front of us are so lonely and isolated. They've forgotten the art of friendships.
I love that. Okay. So this is going to immediately start to outline the structure of the sermon for you. And you can, of course, customize it. Now, forgive my computer here. I have a million tabs open, so it'll catch up in just a second here. One sec.
And so what I love about your tool though is just so clean. The UI, UX, the user experience has just been simplified, I guess, so it's
Thank
not
you.
cluttered.
Thank you. Um, yeah, we we've done a lot of user interviews with a lot of these
Yeah.
tools, and so we try to make it as simple as possible. But here's our sermon example, and you can customize this however you'd like. But there's an introduction here. You can give an opening anecdotal story, thesis statement, biblical references, and the verses that you can pull from here, main points of the sermon, and then a conclusion, final thoughts, and you can use this to save a whole lot of time.
Yeah, and then you can just click, say, copy, and put this into Google Docs and work on it further, right?
Yep, absolutely. There's a one-click copy button there, right here on the right-hand side. You can also share this document with somebody if you'd like. But yeah, it's just as simple as copying and pasting that over into a Google Doc, and feel free to customize it however you'd like.
Awesome. What about the tools for personal study? So, if you are an actual congregation member and you're trying to go down, maybe I think the tool that I liked was I think you have a biblical character tool.
Yeah, biblical character study. All right, give me a character.
Habakkuk,
How do you spell that?
Habakuk,
Okay,
Habakuk, or maybe it's KKUK. There you go. It found it.
there you go. Cool. Yeah, so we can see Habakkuk is one of the 12 minor prophets in the Old Testament of the Bible, recognized for his profound contributions in understanding faith, justice, and God's sovereignty. Here's an overview of him, including his roles, key qualities. And of course, my browser keeps crashing there. So just give it a second. There we go. So we can see his role in biblical events here. We can see key qualities about him, significant life events as documented, spiritual lessons, key verses that he's mentioned, and contributions. Now, I will also say this is AI generated, and so always do some fact checking along that as well, just in case there's potential inaccuracies. It's very good, but there could be some things that are slightly skewed. So always keep that in mind with AI.
And is this mobile friendly? If I'm on the go, if I'm in a cafe or even church or Bible study group, how does this play on a mobile device?
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely mobile friendly. It's in browser. You actually just gave me a great idea. We might turn this into an app, so you could just use it as a downloadable app rather than in the web browser.
I love it. Um, so if someone is actually looking at all these tools here, um, where would you suggest that people start? Like, what's the first place to start? Because I think there's so many goodies in here. Some are obviously, I think, have the sweet spot of utilizing AI. Any suggestions?
Well, I think it depends on how you want to use it, and what your purpose are for. You can look your name up in here. That's a fun little way to get started. So if we do, John, we'll find a bunch of references of the name John.
I love that.
Yeah, so you can research if you have a biblical name, you can research that in here.
I could see families doing that with their kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love
So you
it.
can see information there. Um, yeah, I mean, Psalm study guide, moral guidance. You can use it for prayer assistance, prayer request helper.
Oh, can we try the memory verse? That was something that we saw that was interesting. I don't think other tools have gotten to this section yet.
Mhm.
So why don't we just start with the standard, John 3:16. Yeah, the mnemonics I think is really good.
So here.
So I could see how leaders, even parents, pastors can go to this tool and even use this with their families or with their groups or even by themselves, right? And to actually use this as a challenge, run contests, and
Yeah, I
right?
love that. Yeah, try and memorize one verse a day.
Yeah. You could text these out, right? Copy paste and text it out, and just to make sure that everyone has that stays on track all week. So many different ways to use
Absolutely.
this.
That's actually a great one too. So the now that you bring that up, I've been a part of some sort of daily devotional
Yeah.
text threads before too.
Yeah.
So I know some people do that. So if you want to start your day with something, you could type a topic in here and have that sent in your text group or WhatsApp group or whatnot.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a view of this app. It's at, I think it's at this cusp of being able to personalize direct access to more resources and personal study, both for the parishioner and for the pastor. Before I let you go, you have so much insight and experience on digital side of community development and all that kind of stuff. I would just ask you, what's one or two things that you might offer in terms of suggestions to the church, to pastors who are trying to reach as many people in their zip codes as possible? What's one or two things that you would suggest in terms of their posture or tactics or strategy, something that you would advise a friend if you came across a pastor at Starbucks and you're meeting with them regularly? What's one direction you would send them off and say, hey, you need to think about this kind of stuff for your own ministry?
Yeah, I would record every sermon on video and turn it into short form clips and repurpose those clips across TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, X, every social media platform. If you're recording an hour and a half sermon, you're going to get a lot of clips out of it. You could use a tool like Opus Clip
Yeah,
to do this very quickly if you don't want to have a manual person edit it for you, and just post 1 to 2 every single day. And that will help your accounts grow. That will get the word out there. I've even seen churches live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Don't be afraid of video to spread your message.
absolutely. And then I think the golden rule across all social and digital is the keyword consistency, right? Can you just talk
Oh
about
yeah.
that? Just why is that so important?
Well, it's like compound interest, right? The more that you do it, the easier that it gets, and the more and more the successful results come from that. And so it's just your number of at bats. The more that you post, the more anecdotal evidence that you're going to find of what tactics and strategies and types of content actually work online, so that you can double down and do more of that thing. It also just allows you to stay top of mind with people on an ongoing basis. There's a great sort of story that I'm going to butcher about the real estate agent at the family dinner, and cousin Austin is saying, "I just bought my first house, and I'm so excited about this." And the real estate agent cousin says, "Why didn't you use me as your real estate agent?" And they say, "Oh yeah, oh gosh, I completely forgot. I just found somebody on Instagram that I've really enjoyed their content to use." Right, and so if you are not top of mind, somebody else is.
Yeah, So that's a good word from Austin. Consistency and video. As I always say, video is the new black. You just need to invest in video, video, video. And I love your sentiment of like it's all about just the number of at bats you have. You just need to continuously be top of mind. Thank you so much, Austin. As we leave, what's the best way for people to follow you, to get into your orbit? What's your native platform, and what are some of the other places that people could see and just enjoy and benefit from the content that you're putting out?
Yeah, well, thank you so much again for having me on, Kenny. It was an awesome time. My main platform is Facebook. So that's where I'm most active all day, Austin Armstrong. I am active on every other platform. If you just do a search for Austin Armstrong, I am the nerdy AI with glasses, Austin Armstrong. I am not the like hunky stud from LA with curly hair, Austin Armstrong, nor am I the Florida Gators defensive line coach, Austin Armstrong. I'm right there in the middle.
The friendly one. So, Austin, hopefully we'll have you back. Everybody, please let us know what resonated with you in this conversation and what questions do you have. We'll drill down further and somehow twist Austin's arm to come back and visit us again here at Church Tech Today. Thank you so much, Austin, and thank you everybody for chiming in. We'll see you here in the next video.